Welcome to the Houston Huddle, where knowledge meets the game. 3 voices, every angle and beyond the headlines. Xavier Houston is a sports encyclopedia of knowledge, with a deep inside look at the recruiting landscape, from prospects to pipelines. He sees the whole board. Simeon Houston brings it play by play, thought by thought, breaking down the game with logic, clarity, and a deep understanding of how all the pieces fit together. And rounding out the huddle, Martin Houston, national champion, 2-time SEC champion, with insight forged in the field of play, with an unmatched passion for sports, leadership, and life. Together, they take you from the locker room
to the field, to inside the huddle. 3 voices, every angle,
beyond the headlines.
This is the Houston Huddle.
Now it's time to lock in.
It's time for the huddle. The Houston Huddle.
The Houston Huddle.
It's time for the huddle. The Houston Huddle.
Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share on your favorite social platform. And let's get in the game.
All right, let's get in the game. What's up, guys?
What up? What up? Hey,
So,
glad to be
man,
here.
I'm so excited. This is cool beans, as they say. Excited to be here. Welcome to all of the listeners out there. This is the inaugural Houston Huddle. I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. That's Simeon Houston. And we are the Houston Huddle, bringing it live to you right here on the Houston Huddle Network, I guess is the best way to describe it. Got a great show lined up for you. We want to invite all of you in to get in on the conversation, like, follow, share on your networks. I will apologize for there was a couple technical issues that happened that, of course, you have to know when you're dealing with social media. Sometimes they put new rules in, so we're makeshift and making it work using some of our network from the Martin Houston show to make this go, but eventually we'll be piping directly and live right on the Houston Huddle platform. So, but until then, you're still in and we're still ready to go. I do ask for a little leeway. I've been saying the Martin Houston show for a long time. So if I say the Martin Houston show instead of Houston Huddle, y'all give me just a little bit of grace. We got a great show lined up for you. We're going to have just kind of a miscellaneous opening quarter where we just ask some questions, talk about a lot of different things. Then we're going to dive a little deeper into key matchups in quarter 2. Quarter 3, we're going to talk about keys to victory. In quarter 4, we're going to talk about score prediction and the other games, give you some predictions and give you our thoughts on those games as well. So remember, like we do all the time, this is about you and having a conversation with you, our listening, viewing audience. So if you have a question, especially in this first segment, man, throw it out there and we'll work it in. And the good news is we play the quarters, but we don't have to play by the rules. we don't have to take a break and stop a conversation just because of a headline or needing to go to a spot break. So, like I said, we want to get all the conversation in. Simeon, I'll give you guys a chance to greet our listening audience on this inaugural Houston Huddle.
Yeah, this is a blast, getting to do this once again. Simeon's come in with us on the Martin Houston show, but this is 100% us, and the freedom to really talk about whatever we want to talk about and go further in depth with things. As you heard, I am the sports encyclopedia. This is where we can talk more about stuff like that. We can talk throwback Alabama, future Alabama when it comes to recruiting. I'll be able to go more in depth with that. And it'll be more than just Alabama at the end of the day. It'll be the SEC. It'll be nationwide what we're doing. So that's what's really exciting about this venture. It's freely kind of taking the reins off. Of course, Alabama is going to always be the main drive and focus, but to branch out and touch some of these other things that, we like to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really cool month of being able to join the Martin Houston show, of course, but also be able to join and start the Houston Huddle. This kind of is like a 2-week-old conversation that we're just starting out and just saying, hey, let's run with it, and we'll see how far it goes. And it's just been something that I think just more than talking sports, but I think it's just good for the three of us to be able to spend time together and talk and stay connected as we continue to grow and get older.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And, hey, let's get right into the conversation. Guys, I'm going to throw out some questions. I kind of moderate and all of that. So definitely, I love it. Teresa said, love the name, the Houston Huddle, talking about family. Absolutely. Jacob Powell, he said, weird seeing these faces up time. Definitely. So let's shout out, before we get started, let's shout out all of those who have joined us so far, and we'll continue as we bring in new people. Y'all help us get the word out. Heavy hitter coming in, Samuel Pittner, Teresa Pittner. Now I need to know, Miss Teresa, is Sam Senior on with you as well? Because he didn't have a flip phone. But Jacob Powell, also Hollywood, the barber, also jumping in with us this morning. Jason Rutledge on with us, and Rodriguez Carlisle. Those who have identified themselves, there's more on, but we welcome you in, like I said, to the conversation. We're going to start off, and these questions are not in any set order of importance. So let's just start off. I'm starting with number one. I'm starting to see stuff on Ryan Williams commercials. They're showing clips. Are they trying to give us a little clue that this may be Ryan Williams' breakout game? Does Ryan Williams have a breakout game in the Rose Bowl?
I mean, I'll say yes. I've been rooting for him. I feel like we've been calling for it for the past month, saying, okay, it's going to be this game. It's going to be this game. It's going to be this game. Like they say, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. So hopefully this is the game. I mean, even he talked about how, he was asked straight up if he's going to be in the portal. And he said no. And so he's staying. He's committed to Alabama. So hopefully that gives a little. Get some love.
Speaking of that, so Xavier, when you hear that, like the way he responded, does that make you feel like? Because my concern was that as we were going down the pathway X, maybe he was disconnecting without disconnecting because he was leaving. And they kind of sensed that, and instead of, they were going to let him go. But to hear him say that makes me go, okay, this dude is Crimson Tide. So do you think he had that breakout game?
Man, I want to say yes, just because this is what we've been wanting. He had it early in the season. When you look at the Wisconsin game, 160 plus yards, the most receiving yards any wide receiver has had in a game this season. And then you add in just what's kind of been going on with him from the standpoint of it doesn't feel like he's been involved. It's like, okay, we'll go to him early, then we don't go to him again, or we go to him late, and he hasn't really been in the flow of the game. But hearing him talk today about wanting to stay and being committed to Alabama, sure, it's a possibility to say he's going to have a breakout game. I don't know if he necessarily has to have the quote unquote breakout game, but he has to be involved in the offense. Whether that's
let me ask it another way. Do you think Ryan Williams has an impact on this game?
yes, yeah, I do, and I think we see it in more than just catching passes. Do I think he can go out and have a 5 to 7 catch game? Absolutely, but I think we're going to see jet sweeps. I think we're going to see reverses, just ways to get him involved in the game. Alabama has to do to help draw the attention, because as good as Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton and Latsir Brooks are, we know they're not the dynamic playmaker that Ryan Williams is.
Speaking of Jeremy Bernard, did you see the shoes?
Man,
those are nice.
If you all have not seen it, I should have pulled that, should have saved that image and pulled it up. But the Rose Bowl, were they the only 4, or did everybody? But at least 4 Alabama players are gonna have like custom shoes, and their personalities were written all over the shoes. It was pretty funny. Jeremy Bernard with his fake face and scripture, and Damani Jackson, gold and money. I mean, he had a dollar sign on the toes. What's his name was bright and flashy, but yet contemporary. Like talk about Xavier Brown, and then Daniel Hill just his shoe looked like I'm a workhorse. It just hadn't worked me, right? So hopefully, speaking of workhorse, do we see this Alabama run game in a similar way of what I asked about Ryan? Do we see it impact the game in a way that it makes a difference in Alabama's performance and elevate their game?
Yeah, I would love to believe so, truthfully. Ryan Grubb himself even said that they want to get the run game involved earlier, and I feel like that was the issue in the Oklahoma game. Was they didn't run the ball a whole bunch in the first half, and then they started to run it in the second half, and so I think this run game hopefully will have a bigger impact, because it allows Ty Simpson to be able to be more of the maestro that he is if he's able to have a good running game.
Absolutely. And X was able to pull up the shoes. Got Xavier Brown's pulled up right now. But yeah, it's you can look at the different shoes later, go back and check those out. X, what's your thoughts in terms of the run game?
Yeah, when I'm at the run game, I think you have to get Daniel Hill, specifically him being the battering ram, involved early. Kevin Riley being back and being healthy, I think is going to be an interesting potential change of pace to the game. But Daniel Hill being the battering ram, I feel like those big backs, they have to get touches early. They have to get carried. I can remember hearing you talk about growing up how Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker would carries 1 through 15 would have 55, 60 yards, but it was carries 16 through 25 where they would do all of their damage. They'd have another 100 plus in those last 10 carries. Do I think Daniel Hill gets 25 carries? No, but I think Daniel Hill needs to have 15 carries, 15 to 18 to beat up on this defense.
A modern example of that is Derrick Henry. I don't know what Harbaugh and them doing. I mean, you give a guy 25 carries, he's going to get 175 to 200 yards. It's just, you can write it down.
Yeah,
they get tired of hitting him, and it matters. It's not just that the running back gets into the rhythm; it's they get a feel for the game, but they also that guy that's hitting him, he started trying to figure out how am I going to tackle him because I don't want him. He started trying to get a shoulder in there, and then all of a sudden he stiff arm break it out. Now he doesn't have the breakaway speed of the three guys you know Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, Derrick Henry. You didn't get them at the line, and by the time they got the linebackers, they were gone. Yeah. So, but he
has enough to get you 25 to 40.
Put it like this: you don't need 75 yards. If you can get him, great. But if you feed him, he'll get you over the course of a game. I think Daniel Hill is the type of running back that would average 120 yards back in the day, and he'd have like 3 or 4 15 to 20 yard runs mixed in with a bunch of 2 and 3s, 4 and 5s, and then boom, he'd get 15 to 20. Not going to be one of these guys that has 70 to 80 yard long runs, but that's okay. But I think this running game is going to be effective, and I think it's going to expand the playbook. Another question. This is kind of a look at Alabama for the season. Most improved player on this team.
Wilkin Formby. That now I have some loyalty there. Former teammate of mine. But Wilkin from last year, the South Florida game, to him now, especially since he moved to guard, has been a playmaker. His communication has been elite. His blocking has been elite, and he's been able to even occasionally go back out to right tackle and has been able to hold his own at right tackle and right guard this season. And that has just been something that I've just been so proud. I know it's a little biased, but just something I've been so proud to see.
Is he most improved, or is he the least talked about? That because I don't know that he was playing bad when he was getting dogged. But no one is talking about him anymore. No one's coming, right. So
and that's what you want from your offensive lineman.
It was several weeks where he graded out as one of the highest linemen, but yet everybody in the media was dogging him. So that's why I say that. But I know what you mean. I also think Wilkin made the offensive line better by being able to be the communicator to Michael Carroll.
Yeah, so. he's helped Carroll develop and come along so much. And I mean, he even graded out as if I'm not mistaken, the Georgia game, he graded out as the #1 offensive lineman in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, and so if I know people probably still, have what they're going to say what they're going to say, but he's been really improved this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wilkin is a really good choice, but I'm going to go offensively. I'm going to say Latsir Brooks because we didn't know what we were getting in him, and he was a summer enrollee, so he's not a guy that got a spring to go through it. And so watching him, he's made plays all year, but just his consistency down the stretch when we've been trying to wonder, hey, what are we going to get from Ryan? Latsir has been able to step up and be that number 3 guy, at sometimes the number 1 guy when Ty's going through his reads and making decisions. We talk about that catch on 3rd down against Oklahoma. We talk about the touchdown on 4th down and how those 2 plays sparked the comeback for Alabama in that game. So I think Latsir offensively. Defensively, you look at a guy like a Yonze Pierre. Yonze Pierre has been absolutely phenomenal down the stretch. And you hate it for Quay because Quay was playing good before he got hurt. But that injury, Yonze took advantage of that opportunity and has played as a potential day 2 pick in the stretch that he has played, and coming back for another year could potentially have worked himself into a 1st-round pick as an edge rusher.
Yeah, and I'm not going to say the same guys you had because I could easily say Brooks, but I think we knew about Brooks coming in to the season by the time the season started. I would say the same thing about Quay. Quay was just waiting his opportunity. The guy to me, a couple guys I could pick, our cornerback, the freshman, but we had heard about him. We had been hoping for this guy that I'm going to name, though. We had been hoping that Keon Keeley would just we like, come on, Keon, come on, man, because I was concerned he was going to go in the portal, right? Yeah. And so to see him transform his body, finally get that body where he could do it, would be big time. And so I'll throw Keon Keeley. Other guys that could be potential candidates for most improved, you got to say from game 1 to now, is Bray Hubbard.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Samuel Pittner saying Xavier Brown. I think I think he was saying Jim Miller from a consistency standpoint. The other guy, I would say this, and I'm gonna point this out. You said it. Samuel Pittner also said it. Is Brooks really our clutch guy now? Is he? And not that he's the best. I don't think he's the best.
No, I give it. I
think Jeremy is still better, but because they double team Jeremy and they know it, has Brooks now become that guy?
Yeah, I mean, because of the way that Jeremy's been getting played down the stretch, you really have to look at how in those clutch situations, it seems like every pass goes towards Brooks.
Think about Tom Brady. Tom Brady had
Randy
Moss. He had Gronk, Moss, and then every time he needed a third down, it was Welker. Right?
Or Edelman.
Or Edelman, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, neither one of those guys were Hall of Famers compared to the other guys, but the team were like, well, we got to stop this. We know if we don't cover Randy Moss, if we don't cover Gronk, let's see if somebody can stay with him one-on-one. And I don't know if you can cover Brooks one-on-one. I mean,
no,
not if the quarterback has time.
No, I don't think you can, and I think he worked really well out of the slot and is more of a true slot. That's why I think he's had more success as well at times than Ryan has. So it'll be interesting to see how they play. All of those guys come Thursday. What's the rotation? Do you try to stick Ryan outside some with Lottie in the slot? That's where the ingenuity of this offense could come from.
All right, couple rapid fires, and then we'll take just a quick semi break. And that is Alabama wins if, and I know we're gonna dig deeper, but this is a rapid fire. Alabama wins if what?
No turnovers.
The line holds up. Offensive line holds up.
If they score more points than another team. No, I'm just Bama's defense will do what?
Force 2 turnovers.
Get 3+ sacks.
3+ sacks. All right. Here's a good one. Grubb will surprise me when and if he does what?
Targets Ryan.
Runs a sweep or a reverse with Ryan.
Do it now?
Runs a reverse or a sweep with Ryan.
Yeah. Grubb will surprise me if and when he commits to the run. Right? Now think about all of those. You just look like you said Ryan, you said reverse. I said all of those makes Alabama an even more dangerous team if they happen. Like now, if he targets Ryan and Ryan drops all the balls, then no, right?
Yeah, right.
But I think the run game, just being committed to the run game, will do it. I have seen teams that will get 2 to 3 yards, never have any success in the run game, but they're building around it. And they know that they're going to have a play action pass off of it. They know that they're going to pull those linebackers, make the linebackers honor the run, and then you can drop some receivers down in that 15 to 20-yard range. That's what we've lost. People have seen we're not committed to the run, and they've just started backing out. They are so unafraid of our run game that they know if there's 15 plays and they guess pass all 15 times, they might give up 2 runs. So they don't play the run. Make them play the run, and then make their DBs in the back have to cover our 4 wide receivers. Don't let them cover our 4 wide receivers with 6 and 7 guys.
Right.
And that's what the lack of commitment to run has done. Any closing thoughts on that first quarter before we get out of here?
Yeah. I was just thinking about this. I think the staff actually tried to get Ryan more involved. If you remember the Oklahoma game, they put him back there at punt returner, and he fumbled it, and they hadn't gone back to that, and so I think that was almost an attempt to get Ryan more involved, to get the ball in his hands, and
that was probably that was probably a DeBoer decision.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably the board decision. I hadn't thought about it that way, Simeon, but that's a good point. And I think that they realize. I hope that big boys can put their egos in their shoes, starting with Grubb, Ryan, and everybody else, and do what's best for this team.
Yeah.
Individual results put aside. But I guess before we get to break, outside of Ryan, who do you want to see use more? I guess because we're begging for Ryan, but who else in this offense do we want to see use more?
Daniel Hill, just more touches.
Daniel, I'll say Daniel and Kevin.
Y'all know something we hadn't talked about all week? What's his name is back, and he was not full speed, but he still had impact in that game.
Josh
And now
Cuevas.
I think he's fullback, huh?
Josh Cuevas.
Cuevas. I think we'll see a screen to Cuevas in this game, middle screen, because they've tried a couple screens with other guys, but they've messed it up. Like when they tried it with Deere, he didn't block the guy. And when they tried it with Washington, he ran into the guy. It'll be interesting to see if they put Cuevas.
Who's back? That's been to the running back. Who's back this week, and who's the best pass catching running back?
But I don't know. He's back, but man, I don't know. Well, I guess since it was a jaw thing, he probably is still. He could still be in good shape. I don't know how much to expect out of Kevin Xavier. Just
yeah.
I mean, I agree that he's back, and he could come in because he's a game changer. He really is. He's a different type of back. And of all the running backs that's in the Alabama room, he may be the lead dog coming into next year. And Deere and Crowell may have to catch him because it's going to be hard. What that kid did from going from 15 to first team, really.
Yeah. The coaches like him.
Yeah. And he just has to get bigger, faster, and stronger. So anyway, somebody's watching the Tennessee game. Said Tennessee just fumbled the kickoff, recovered it, and ran it. Oh, they fumbled. Hold on. Did Tennessee fumble the kick and then picked it up and then ran it for a touchdown? Okay, that's crazy. Maybe we'll get some of that crazy on our side.
28-27, Tennessee.
Who? I don't even know who they're playing.
Illinois. 4 minutes to go in the game.
Please beat Illinois.
We won't hit the end of that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got 3 chances between tonight and tomorrow to shut the Big Ten up. and then hopefully we can
gotta
do
beat them. Gotta beat them.
You know what? No, because Michigan and Texas play tomorrow. Vandy, I forgot who Vandy plays, but they're a Big Ten team.
And so because the reality of it is that the SEC teams that have lost have been like the middle to the bottom of the SEC against the first and second place team at the other conferences, right? So, but anyway,
Mizzou had their third quarterback against the runner-up in the ACC, and then
who had the best record,
and then LSU lost to Houston and had 7 starters out on defense.
Oh wow!
And Garrett Nussmeister chose not to play.
Yeah. So somebody said Iowa. Is that who Vanderbilt's playing?
Iowa.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, they're playing Iowa.
That's awesome. Well, that's what I love. I love our listening audience. We have such a knowledgeable listening audience. Like they know what they're talking about. It's not just all this hype and hoopla and craziness with the callers and the chatters. So I really do appreciate that. Hey, we're going to take it's just going to be a quick 1-minute break to reset. We'll come back on the other side to keep things rolling right here on the Houston Huddle. 3 voices, every angle beyond the headlines. We'll be back in a moment. All right. Welcome back to quarter number 2. That was just kind of our miscellaneous quarter where we just talked about a little bit of everything. Let's get specific about this game. I'll let one of you start it off with the key matchup. And hey, listen, if you're listening over there in the chat world online, let us know what your key matchup is and why, and we'll bring that into the conversation as well. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I will have Alabama's DBs versus Indiana's wide receivers. I think Indiana has 2 guys that are 6'4", 2 or 3 guys that are 6'4". So I think having good coverage on them, I think Xavier Brown and Dejon Lee, I think they're going to have really big games based off of, because they're deep ball threats, both of those guys. And then I think Omar Cooper Jr. is back and fully healthy. And so if he's fully healthy, he was the one who made the game-winning catch against Penn State. And so he's a lot to handle. And so I'll really looking forward to seeing how even Damani Jackson, beginning of the season, Damani Jackson didn't like to tackle, and he saw where that got him. And I think now he's done a lot better with being more physical and actually acting like he wants to be there. And so, and I guess that would mean even Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb being put to the test on those deep balls sometimes, sticking up with them, because I know they're not as fast and as athletic as I would say maybe Omar Cooper, but if they get switched onto them, how can they cover him?
Yeah, and the other part I would add to that, Simeon, is is Bray and Keon not getting taken advantage of because of their aggressive play. Indiana has a really solid run game, and because of that run game, you don't want to fool around and them get sucked in, and a tight end breaks it off down behind them. That would probably be my bigger concern. I feel pretty good about our matchups with them as far as our DBs, but we can't let the quarterback sit back there and just take and have a field day.
Definitely, and that's why I think one of the big matchups is how Kane Womack decides to call the chess match between Kane Womack and Kirk Cignetti with the offensive and defensive play calling. Is Kane going to be aggressive like he got in the Oklahoma from the jump and not sit back and let Mendoza pick you apart? Because when we talk about these games that he's had against Ohio State, against Penn State, Iowa, Oregon, the reason it was 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions in those matchups is because they brought pressure. They moved him off of his spot. They hit him. They made him uncomfortable. And so that's how you have to attack Indiana. You can't sit back and just kind of hope that your front four can get there. You've got to bring an extra guy or two to move them.
In some ways, and Simon, I think you even said this during the game. If you go back and watch Mateer at Oklahoma, he has great mechanics from the pocket, horrible on the run, horrible on the move. I don't know that mechanics go out the window, but he's not as accurate on the move. He's still a good quarterback, but you have to think, let that sink in. 33 touchdowns. 6 of those touchdowns, all but 6 of those touchdowns came against the lower opponents. In his top games, what was it? Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn
Maryland,
State,
and Penn State, and Iowa.
Yeah, he averaged just over 1 touchdown a game, and averaged 1 interception in those 5. Now that's picking his 5 worst games. I get that, but that's also amongst the 5 best teams he played.
That has to be put into consideration.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see if we can move him off the pocket. I think you're right there. My matchup is Alabama's O-line, okay, against their D-line. Their entire D-line. I went through and just looking, not at starters, because I don't think you're going to be able to play Alabama with just your defensive end, your nose tackle, and the other D lineman and a linebacker for 60 minutes. If we commit to the run, their biggest defensive lineman is 6'2", 310, a freshman. And then they have one other 300-pounder. He's 6'3", 300 pounds, and that's a senior from Sacramento. Everybody else, guys, they have one guy that's like 295. Everybody else is in the 260 range. I mean,
I saw somebody bring it up. There is on average, a 49-pound difference in Alabama's starting offensive line and Indiana's starting defensive line.
And so to me, that's why I say we have to commit to the run. Because early in the game, they're going to be full of juice. They're going to be energetic. And they like to loop and stunt and twist, okay? That's what they like to do. Well, what if an offensive lineman can lay on them, first of all, from the beginning of the game, and secondly, if you can get them where those loops and stunts aren't quite as quick, what does it create? if you're running right where that guy's leaving from, and you
Big
get there
lanes.
before the other guy gets there, if Alabama can do that, if they will just and the running backs have to help the coaches out. They have to see the hole. Did y'all see the Falcons play last night?
Yeah.
Partially.
Did y'all see? I did. They ought to fire whoever was the offense coordinator at Texas because Bijan Robinson didn't win the Heisman. That dude had to be the best running back I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
He's good.
I mean, he sees everything. I don't need us to see everything. I just need us to see a little bit. I just need to see our running backs see just a little bit. I mean, I wasn't the quickest guy. I wasn't the quickest guy. Wasn't the fastest guy. But I knew what you wanted to do. And I knew when you left here, I knew who was replacing you. And it made it look like I was a lot quicker because I knew what you wanted to do. And I'm telling you, when teams stunt and twist and loop and try to move guys to get those, if you can hit them, you can't be fooling around. Hit them, big gaps open. And I think that's what Alabama has an opportunity to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If you look at our, if you watch the end zone view, I encourage everybody to go in and at least watch the end zone view at least once or twice. Our O-line gets a lot of hate, but they make holes. There are holes, especially on cutbacks. And I don't feel like the running backs don't like to cut back at all. And
they just run.
They run the play. They run the play.
Running backs run what's called.
Yeah.
And this is the question was asked about Derek Nix and Ryan Williams. Don't be surprised if our run game isn't better because of Derek Nix. And don't be surprised if Derek Nix isn't coaching running backs next year. Sorry, just let that clip out. But anyway, I think we'll have a new offensive line coach, new running back coach, and new wide receiver coach. I think everybody. I don't think Grubb is going to go anywhere, but I think everybody but the tight end coach may be gone. I could be wrong.
And a new quarterback coach.
Huh?
And a new quarterback coach.
Yeah.
We need one of them too.
Yeah.
Right. No.
Sam Pittner is all over Jam Miller. Has he been watching a different game? Sam, you been watching the same game? No, I'm just kidding.
The difference between Jam this year and previous years, he pitter-patters.
I think it's mental with Jam. I think that shoulder just slows him down. Because if you messed him up.
You watched him earlier in the season. He was slow getting back out there, and then he got back out there for Georgia and was good, and then was good against Missouri and got the concussion against Missouri, and then he started being timid again.
Mm-hmm. So, and I don't think he's overcome that. So,
and I heard how crazy that collarbone was.
I'm sure.
It was to being life-threatening because of the way it dislocated. So I get the hesitancy of it, but if he's going to play with that hesitancy, we can't have him taking 5 to 10 carries a game.
But didn't he have a good game against Auburn?
I think he was back.
And then he got hurt.
Right.
Again.
Yeah. Every time he's been back, he's turned around and gotten hurt.
Yeah. So if the Jam that showed up against Auburn shows up, or the Jam against Georgia shows up, Alabama's run game is going to be even better. And I think I'll be shocked if Jam doesn't start this game, even though Daniel has been the guy. I'll be shocked.
Well,
Jam
and the other part, he was coming off of a high ankle sprain, playing 2 weeks later.
Yeah. So before we get into a couple other things about the keys to victory and score prediction, any other key matchup you guys want to see?
Yeah, I mean, I think our offensive line has to play well. They are without their best pass rusher, but like you said, they stunt, they twist, they do a lot of funky things on that in that front seven to create pressure. So how do those 5 guys? And once again, this is the best group, healthy, all together, truly healthy, that we've seen all season. Carroll and Wilkin have been solid on that side, but then you've had injuries in the middle and on the left side with Dewberry and Brailsford, and Proctor's been good throughout the year. So now that they're all healthy and locked in, I think we'll see a better performance from them.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, because he loves athletic linemen, do you think they use their stunts, twists, etc., to Alabama's advantage and maybe run some counter stuff?
Counter off of their stunts and stuff?
Well, no, just recall the run plays we run is like, for instance, you pull when I say a counter or a trap type of play where you either pull Brailsford. Now he's healthy. They used to pull him a little bit, but also Michael Carroll is now in there. Do they trust him enough to put him in there? Just think a little counter action where you get because the thing about a counter action is it stops the stunning guy. Okay. So if I'm running a counter, I'm going to go step to the right and come back to the left. Well, when that guy is starting to go to the left and he see me go to the right, he's going to stop.
Yeah.
If he reads it correctly. Then if I have a counter back the other way, he hasn't got to his spot yet.
Yeah.
I just wonder if they'll do any counters or anything, because I think that would also help. This offensive line isn't great at drive blocking. They're not great at drive blocking, even though they're big. And maybe the athleticism of Brailsford and Carroll, we might see a counter play or two.
I would love to.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where they use Riley as well. And sometimes the slow guy is better on a counter because he does it deliberate enough that he doesn't do it too quick. Some guys don't know how to run it. Some running backs don't know how to run a counter play. Like our running backs don't know how to run screens. I figured out that's why we don't do a lot of screens. But they don't know how to chip the guy and then get to the right spot. They're never in the right place. Linemen will be out front and they'll be way underneath instead of right behind the lineman when they catch the ball. So we hadn't ran a lot, but they're not, and maybe that's why we hadn't ran a lot. So any other matchups? I know one, get you guys to comment on Big Ben, the dog of CFB. He said he's looking forward to our D line versus their O line.
Yeah. LT Overton being back can help a lot.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something that we can take advantage of. Now they've got a pretty good offensive line, but we have the depth to just stay fresh for 4 quarters along the defensive line.
Yeah, and one other question, Jacob Powell. He asked a question. I'll respond to it, but you guys can as well. He said, "Won't getting the ball out quick help with the counters and stunts?" I think he's talking about with their movement. Yes. Go ahead, X.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you, like he says, hit quick slants behind it, quick outs, hitches, things of that nature where you're setting your feet and getting the ball. They don't have time to get anywhere. It helps your offensive line. It helps your DB because now they're either going to have to make a decision. Do we keep stunting and getting zero pressure, or do we have to line up and try to just go get the quarterback?
Yeah, and the reason you understand this, the reason a team does loop stunts and twists for the most part is because they're not physical enough or athletic enough to
at the point
beat
of
you,
attack.
right? So take advantage of that. I'm telling you, if you fire off the pass game like Jacob Powell just mentioned helps, but guess what? Running right into a looping guy also helps. Because which way is he going? He's going what?
Away.
Sideways.
Yeah.
Run. Think about, and I haven't seen us do this. Think about a draw play against a looping line. When the running back has time to see all of that, twisting and stunting and so we'll see if they run the game. And of course, we coaching them up over here. Coach DeBoer and Grubb sent me a message that they were going to be tuned in tonight, listening to get some points. So hopefully they're taking good notes out there in Pasadena and getting it set up. Let's go ahead and shift over to come out of halftime here, guys, and shift over to the third quarter with a couple things. Then we'll get our score predictions and knock those out. All right, so third quarter kickoff. X, you're receiving the ball here. Let's talk about keys to victory.
Say that again.
Keys to victory.
Keys to victory. Yeah, I mean, it's funny when you're talking about key matchups, you hit a lot of the keys to victory. But when we're talking about winning the game in the trenches, that's where Alabama has to dominate this game, especially if the weather is bad, because that should, quote unquote, play into the hands of Indiana. But if Alabama can win up front offensively, we can control the ball, we can control the clock and do things of that nature. Also, Indiana, as much as everybody talks about how great of a run game they have, when they've played, like we've talked about Mendoza playing these top teams, when they've played these top teams, they haven't been as successful as you think. They have crazy big games, 300-yard rushing games. But then when you go look at Iowa, when you look at Penn State or Ohio State, Oregon, they're slightly over 100, 105, 118. But it's not a good, it's less than 3 yards a carry when you're talking about those games as well. So if our defensive line can control the line of scrimmage with Big Tim, LT, James Smith, we're in good position because we know JJ, Hill Green, and Deontay are flowing behind.
Simeon?
Yeah, I have two keys to victory. Just for Alabama,
first,
or just one. Okay.
Just hit one first. We'll come back to it.
So for one is just avoiding a slow start offensively. I think if Alabama gets down by 3 possessions again, like they did against Oklahoma, it's going to be really hard to come back in that game. And as an offense and as a team, you don't want to have that stress on you anyway of having to come back in every single game. So if Alabama's able to avoid a slow start offensively and defensively, I think it'll lead up to more success and less stress towards the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, one of the keys of victory to me is just our ability to come out and you kind of coming by what you said, not fall behind. Okay, don't come out and lay an egg early and let them get hyped, etc. But I would also say, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there because we're probably not going to get to it really, is we can't lose a special teams battle. We cannot, if we break even on the special teams battle, I'm okay with that. If we win it, I think it doubles us up doubles them up. We can't lose the special team battle, whether it's kickoff, coverage, kick return is a non-factor. Period. For the most part, just don't fumble it. Punt return, just be smart with the ball. But punting the ball and kicking the ball for field goals, we have to win those two. And I'm gonna be honest. If we lose this game, it'll be because our special teams misses an easy kick or gets a kick blocked. And Oklahoma literally could have put us on our head, but the guy just missed the ball.
Yeah,
he just mistimed his jump.
And the slow start offensively plays into that because we can't have a bend but don't break defense and then go 3 and out on offense. We have to. Yeah, if we go out the first drive and get 7, I'll love it. If we go out and get 3, I'll love it. But we can't go 3 and out, punt, them get a couple first downs, punt, and then we're backed up, and then we're not getting another first down. And that plays into the slow start plus the special teams game. Because part of the special teams game is the game of field position. And so, hey, even if we get off a dog gets off a 45-yard punt, but he's punting it from his 10-yard line, they're still in great field position.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Sim, you said you had another one?
Just win the turnover battle. Whether that is breaking even on the turnover battle or forcing turnovers. I feel like if Ty didn't have one of those sack fumbles, and he almost had one against Oklahoma, and I'm glad he was able to hold on to the ball. And so if he's able to be ready to, because they're probably gonna get a sack, unfortunately. I want our offensive line play perfect, prove me wrong, but they're probably gonna get a sack, and Ty has to be ready for when he does get contact to hold on to the ball. Because I don't think he'll throw an interception, but those strip sacks could come into question.
Talking about keys to victory, what do you all think will happen to Indiana if Alabama jumps on them? I mean, like if we go up 10, 13 points, something like that, what do you think will happen?
Sorry, Tennessee just lost. I just saw that. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough.
Dang.
Hey, we got Vandy in Texas. I believe in them.
Yeah, but they Illinois. We said Illinois was garbage. So Illinois beat Tennessee. So can we claim Tennessee as a big win? But anyway, hey, that's what happens, guys. Y'all realize we're doing this live, right? If you're watching us live, you know that we're like literally responding to what's happening. Oh, Tennessee just lost. Indiana will fold. Oh, yeah. Back to my question.
100%. If we jump out on them, you can. They won't have a comeback in them, because as good as Kurt Signetti and Indiana have been, there's been 2 games. Well, 3 games. There's been 3 games that they have been jumped out on, quote unquote, and that's Notre Dame last year, Ohio State last year, and Penn State this year. And Penn State did not have the team to put them away. Notre Dame,
they didn't have a coach. I think
they didn't have the coach. True, they didn't have the coach. And you had a redshirt. You had a redshirt freshman starting his 2nd game ever.
Yeah.
If Alabama can get a 10 to 14 point lead, start pressing heavily, and that plays into Alabama's hand. Now, can we really run the ball? Because the part that scares me is we get these leads and then we're still throwing it because they don't trust our run game.
That would be bad. That cost us a national title. That type of play calling, when we had Clemson beat, and Bo went down, and Mr. Damian Harris, they didn't have enough faith to give him the ball. He had been the starter earlier.
They didn't have enough faith in the leading rusher, a 1,000-yard back. That's what you got to remember. This isn't Damian Harris, had played. This is 1,000 yards on the season and has been your starter until to Auburn or the SEC championship game.
Right. He had started all but like 3 games. So, but the crazy part there, to your point though, is that was Sark. That was an arrogant play caller who wanted to contribute to the win. He kept we threw the ball 31 times in that game. 18 incompletions.
And was winning the whole game.
Yeah, right. 18 incompletions. 18 timeouts. Let that sink in. 18 timeouts, and we lost with 1 second. So, to your point is, if we can't run the ball, the lead won't matter as much because the game will. We have to still keep playing at a high level if we have to keep throwing the ball, and every time you throw the ball incomplete, it's a timeout.
Well, just run the clock. Just run the clock down between every run. I don't get why teams, if you have a 2-score lead, why are you snapping the ball with 20 seconds left on the play clock? Run it down, because that's going to get them frustrated. Just sit there and just
the Oklahoma where we still doing it. Ty getting up there, late changes in the play clock. 4 or 5 seconds, then all of a sudden we get the lead and we're trying to run the clock out and we snapping it with 15. What? We don't snap it with 3 seconds left when we losing the game trying to score, but we snapping it with 15 with a 2-score lead.
Yeah. So any other keys to victory? We have turnovers, we have run game, we have identity. I think Jacob Powell said, come out with a semblance of a game plan and have a strategy. Our scripted plays are horrible, not very successful. It's almost like we don't know what the other team does because every team offensively usually have a few gotchas. And we were good at the beginning of the year. Let that sink in. At the beginning of the year, it was different. So I don't know what's happened with our scripted plays other than the fact that maybe our playbook is out there now. And maybe with the last 2 weeks, we've had a chance to add a few more plays in there. So, but as we prepare to wrap up this inaugural edition of the Houston Huddle, guys, it's time. Now, for those of you who listen to us in the morning, we'll try to say the same scores, but we may not. Who knows? I'm just kidding. Let's do the other games first. Okay. Miami and Ohio State play tomorrow. Simeon, Xavier, you old enough? You remember? Yeah. I know you were. Do you remember the?
Yes, that was he was born.
Yeah, I mean that's not that. Yeah, just because you was born don't mean you were remembering you were 8.
Well,
when
I was
like
11.
most kids 8 years.
I was 11,
right? Huh?
I was 11.
Sure. Well, we maybe
that. But yes, I remember that was the game. Willis McGahee knee spun around and the pass interference in the end zone in overtime. It was the first ever overtime national championship game. Maurice Claret, his last game in a Buckeyes uniform as a true freshman. See, I told y'all I'm an encyclopedia. I believe it. But no, I'm taking Ohio State, but it's going to be closer than people think, and I think it's going to be low scoring compared to what people think. But I'll say I'll say 20. I'll say 23 to 17. Ohio State.
I am not a fan of Carson Beck at Miami. He's
That's why I think
turnover
they're gonna
prone.
lose.
He's turnover prone. I think outside of Tony, I don't know how much Miami has outside of him. And I think if you force Carson Beck to try to make him win the game, he will lose the game. Georgia fans know that very well. And so with that, I am going Ohio State 34, Miami 17. I don't think it's going to be close. I don't.
All right. This is probably haterade up in him.
Probably.
And I'm not a big fan of Carson Beck at all, but I think I dislike Ohio State more. So I'm going to convince myself that I'm giving legit analysis here. Okay, I'm giving legit analysis, and this is all based on if Carson Beck can limit his turnovers to 1 and no more than 2, if one of them's in a non-scoring situation. But here's the reason I think Miami has a chance. Sayin is not very good. He wasn't very good against Michigan, and he wasn't very good against Indiana because they got pressure on him. He wasn't very good against Texas because they had enough pass rush. Okay? Them boys at Miami, Bain and company, they're legit. They're legit. I told you I was going to convince myself that I'm giving good sports analysis here, right? But if they can rattle Sayin, and that running back for Miami can keep the ball out of their hands, Miami with the upset. Y'all want to score. I'm going to say.
I'll tell you one thing. The Miami boys, they want to prove something to Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah. Now they don't have. There's nobody in the country that can cover Jeremiah Smith. It's a shame that we had him and Ryan at the same level, but it's okay.
7 catches, 130 yards from Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, but they won't matter. They'll be in the end of the game when they're trying to catch up. It's going to be 20-17, Miami. 20-17, Miami.
What was your score, Xavier?
Xavier's score was 23-17, Ohio State. Look at Rodriguez. See? Rodriguez, Carlisle. That's what I'm talking about, brother. Rodriguez, Carlisle, and I on the same. Rodriguez, they're not on our level. They don't understand the game like we do. That's why they just listening to the media. That's all. They ain't watching football, Rodriguez.
Xavier, did you have Miami?
No, he had Ohio State.
You had Ohio State.
Oh, man.
I think Carson Beck is going to lose it for him.
He will.
That's why.
He will.
I don't trust him. If I trusted Carson Beck, I'd probably take Miami.
Bam Bam asked. We'll tell you. Bam Bam, our score, our tiebreaker when we get to it is going to be Alabama's rush yards. Alabama total rush yards. So Big Ben, the big dog of CFB said how confident I am. On a scale of 1 to 100, I'm pushing 101, Big Ben. Miami, now you have to understand. This is a guy who played against Miami, can't stand Miami. If that doesn't tell you just how
Hey, ride with it. You got it.
That's fine.
You got it, Pops.
I got
you
it.
got it.
All right. So next, Ole Miss and Georgia.
I have Georgia running away with it in the second half. I think Georgia's defense has improved a lot, and I think this is where we'll see maybe some of the lack of head coaching experience from what's his name, Pete Golding, come to show. And that staff is wearing two hats. Eventually, that's going to catch up with you. I know they're committed to Ole Miss, but they're committed to LSU, and so Lane Kiffin. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Lane Kiffin to have them throw the game, call bad plays, all that stuff. And so with that, I am going Georgia. What did I have? I had Georgia 38, Ole Miss 24.
Xavier.
I think the only sim is if what you said happens of somehow Kiffin can get him to throw the game. I think these guys
I'm
have
riding with
something
it.
to prove. I think they are determined to win without Lane, and I think this is going to be a dogfight. We always talk. It's hard to beat a team twice in the same season. Georgia's not immune to that. We just unfortunately have been on the second end of it, having beat Georgia earlier in the season in years past, and including this year. Ole Miss is going to play their butts off in this game, and I think they're going to pull an upset. I think they are. Keyone Lacey got cleared. They're going to win. It's going to be a crazy win. It's going to be some Lane magic within it with a crazy play call. Ole Miss 31, Georgia 30.
31-30. Simeon, your brother laughed at me.
I didn't laugh at you. I didn't laugh at you.
Me for picking Miami over Ohio State. And he turned around. And picked the team to beat a team that nobody's beat but Alabama in the last 20 years.
Kirby Smart is 4-0 in rematch games in his career. If he's played the same team twice in the same season, he's 4-0.
But with that said,
hey, Nick Saban was undefeated against his assistants before he had to play Kirby a second time.
No, actually, I think
Jimbo.
The first Jimbo was
no,
the first
Jimbo
one to
beat
get
him
early in the year.
Early in the year.
Yeah. But with that said, about the Kirby situation, I'm looking at this thing, and I think Ole Miss offensive is gonna be pretty good. Because I think Weiss was the play calling, and I think sometimes Kiffin got in his way because Kiffin would get greedy at times. I just don't know if Ole Miss has enough dogs offensively. What's his name in the second half I think if you were to take his second half, Georgia's offense is, crazy good. And he might be the best quarterback in the nation in the second half. So in the second half of a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Ole Miss leads this game a lot like they did the last time, um, because I think you'll see Weiss. Kirby will prepare for the way Lane Kiffin has called games. I think Weiss is a little different, and I think you'll see Kirby have to adjust to that at halftime. But I still think Georgia wins. I'm taking the Bulldogs in a 31-24 win over.
I just would like to say this. Georgia was losing 35-26 at the start of the fourth quarter.
Right.
So this isn't like if they could have just moved the ball. Their 3 drives in the fourth quarter, they went 3 and out, didn't gain a yard, 3 and out, gained 1 yard. Then they were losing, had 5 plays, 12 yards. If they had just been able to move the ball those first couple of drives, they win that game.
I think Georgia is playing the best football in the country right now. Unfortunately, I don't like saying that out loud. Got a little throw up in my mouth, but
that was shout out Morgan for that one. Shout out Morgan for picking Georgia.
Yeah, Morgan. Yeah, give a shout out to my daughter for being a Georgia. But that's it's I think we could see. It's possible we could see Alabama and Georgia 3.0. 3.0. Which the college football world will have an absolute meltdown if that's the case. Last game before Alabama.
It'd be a 2014 playoffs.
Yeah, last game before we get to Alabama and Indiana, and that is going to be Oregon and Texas Tech.
I like Texas Tech a lot.
Is their defense as legit as the record shows?
I think that's going to get put to the test a little bit.
I'm coming out of the Big Ten, yes, because everybody scores in the Big Ten, and I think they had the 3rd scoring defense in the country. 3rd or 4th. They were behind.
You mean Big 12?
Big 12.
Big 12, yeah, Big 12. The way everybody scores there, they were 3rd or 4th in the country. If they were 3rd, they were just behind Ohio State and Indiana.
Yeah. I don't think Texas Tech has played the talent that Oregon has played, or the talent that Oregon has. The speed at wide receiver that Oregon has, I think, will cause problems for Texas Tech. And Texas Tech hasn't played in a month. So, with that being said, I'm choosing Oregon 28, Texas Tech 20.
This is one of those. This game and of course the Bama game that we're going to talk about in a second. I think this means so much to college football for a different reason than people realize. Because if Texas Tech continues to win this year, all you're going to be hearing about is buying your roster. Now, granted, Ohio State did it last year, but Ohio State has been a perennial power. So them being able to pull big name players, that's always going to be a thing. Texas Tech, are we serious? They couldn't win with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah.
And who do they really have?
But they don't have a ton of big name guys.
They got
good night. They know who to pay to get there. They've got one of the best pass rushes in college football. Romello Height. Yeah, David Bailey, Jacob Rodriguez. They have one of the best defenses in the country, and they've got another linebacker, number 13, Ben Roberts. That dude, if it wasn't for Jacob Rodriguez, it would be him. They're that special of a crew. But as Simi said, I don't know if they've matched up with the speed of an Oregon, the athleticism of an Oregon. Oregon can throw 3 running backs and 6 wide receivers at you, and you don't know what to do with it.
I guess the question will be, though, will it be the run game though? Because they come out of Big 12 and they played some wide receivers and schemed them up and things like that. But have they played a physical run game? And I don't know that Oregon has a physical run game, but they're probably more physical than everybody else that they played.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Lanning, with his SEC background, he recruits good offensive linemen and talented running backs. So that's where you kind of go the edge. I think they can ball control. And if you can ball control and keep it away from Brennan Morton and crew, that they'll be able to do it. But can they do that? And I think that their tackles will be challenged by Texas Tech's pass rush. But I have to go once again with Oregon as well. I think Oregon, having played 2 weeks ago, Texas Tech a month off, having not played. Now, granted, if I was Texas Tech, I would have been preparing for Oregon this entire time. Nobody thought JMU was going to win
Do
that
you
game.
realize that Oregon, I think Texas Tech won all their games by 20 plus points,
Except for the one they lost.
except for the one they lost?
Yeah.
And they didn't have their quarterback in that game.
Yeah.
That's
No, I
crazy.
think they're a really good team.
I mean, that's
Don't get me
crazy.
wrong.
That's like, well, we may not have a tough roster. I mean, schedule, but we literally beat everybody by 3 scores.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think it's a close game. I just don't. And also, once again, this is a depth issue. Texas Tech's front guys are all world. They're all Americans. But do they have the horses in the stable to hang with Oregon the way Oregon can run up and down the field?
If it wasn't, what's your score?
20. No, I'm gonna go 31 to. I'm gonna go 31-21 Oregon.
So Simeon got Oregon 28-20. You got them 31-21. If it wasn't for the off season, I mean the season,
The downtime.
the 4 weeks off, I would pick Texas Tech hands down.
Really?
I don't think Oregon is a great football team. I don't think Dan Lanning is as good a coach as everybody thinks he is. Dan Lanning has the same issue as Kirby Smart. He will do something stupid to hurt his team. He always does. I mean, you watch him. He will make a bad decision. And because of that bad decision, I'm going to take Texas Tech in a close one for Texas Tech. But they might beat them by double digits. And if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong. I am.
I mean, you're not wrong. You look at DeBoer's last year at Washington. The I can't remember how the Pac-12 championship game played out, but I know the regular season game he called. They should have beat Washington.
They could have beat them the first time. They could have beat him multiple times the first time, and he did But I watched him. I didn't want him when everybody was talking about we need to get Dan Lanning. I'm like, why? Because he connected to Kirby and Saban. Have you watched the guy coach a game? He has. They will have to have big explosive plays against Texas Tech, and I don't know if Texas Tech is going to give that up. And I think if we were to take off the TT off of that helmet and put a G on the side of that helmet and put out that black and red, we feel totally different about Texas Tech if they had a G on the side of their helmet. I don't feel that way when I talk about Indiana. I don't think I could put any just, and I'm just being real. I haven't seen, Texas Tech dominated everybody. Indiana had a cakewalk with a couple games in between, and they struggled. They won them, but they struggled. Texas Tech was not a different team at any point this year. It didn't matter who was on their schedule. It didn't matter. They looked the same. And if it wasn't for the 4 weeks, I would feel much better about what I'm saying. But I think because of I think it becomes a dogfight because of the off time, if that makes sense. So I'm going to say Texas Tech. Got to prove it, right? Texas Tech. I'm going to give them 27, and I think that defense holds up, and they hold Oregon to 20 points. So I got Texas Tech. All right. Now, we're not going to spend as much time on Alabama because we'll have to talk about some tomorrow too on the Martin Houston show. But I want your true, honest opinion, guys. We'll have a whole nother listening audience tomorrow. So be real, be raw, be honest.
Honestly, I'm a little worried about this game, strictly because of.
They say you know how to mute his mic. No, just kidding.
Strictly because of I don't know which Alabama team is going to show up. If the Alabama team that won 4 straight ranked games shows up,
Or the first half of Auburn.
Or let's see bits and pieces of every game.
First
half against Georgia, if that team shows up, I think it's a double-digit victory for Alabama.
And that's why I always pick games. I don't pick games based on if a team's going to play bad. Because if a team play, I always pick if these two teams, like when I look at Texas Tech and Oregon, when I pick Texas Tech and Oregon, I think Texas Tech has enough horses to beat Oregon if they both play their best game. When I look at Miami and Ohio State, I believe that if Carson Beck plays his best game, then I think Miami can beat them. If he doesn't, then they're not, right? And that's what you guys don't believe he can. I'm saying, come on, Carson. This may be the only time I cheer for you. But, yeah. Anyway, back to Alabama, Simi.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that 21 points wins this game. I think that, like you said, if both teams play their best game, I think Alabama gets the victory 31 with the field goal early.
By the way, didn't I predict that Alabama will go over 30 against Oklahoma?
You did. They keep the 30-point streak alive.
31 what?
31-20. I'm Alabama is going to play their best game of the season, both halves. Ryan Grubb is going to call his best game.
You hear that?
Calling it.
You hear that, Xavier? You hear that angelic music playing in the background? Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Stamp it. Alabama is going to dominate from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. 31-20 victory.
Rushing yards.
123.
That 3 was emphatic. That's going to be that last touchdown. 3-yard run.
So when I'm looking at this game, it is weird. I'm not nervous, but there are things that I'm concerned about. And that is, can Alabama get off to a quick start? And if Alabama can get off to a quick start, I have faith in the guys to make the plays on the field. Look, if you're about the offensive play calling, but I trust the guys to make the plays on the field. So I think Ty Simpson has a chip on his shoulder. Whether it's a deserved chip or not, he has a chip on his shoulder. And I think guys that have a chip on their shoulder play different and they play harder because they want it more. And everybody has told this Alabama team. I get on social media every day and see folks saying nobody ever doubted Alabama. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You
Spill
wrote us
down.
right. Like Ty said at the end of the game, and it's a throwback to what Geno Smith said. You wrote us off and we ain't right back. You wrote us off after the Florida State game. You wrote us off after the Oklahoma game. You wrote us off after the SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And you wrote us off, and I'll be guilty. I kind of did too. With 10 minutes to go in the second quarter of the Oklahoma game. But you know
Yes,
what?
you did.
But you know what? They didn't write me back either. And they came back and they won. So while all these people keep dogging Alabama talking about they didn't belong and didn't want to be there or didn't deserve to be there, Alabama proved everybody wrong. I believe Alabama can prove everybody wrong again on Thursday. I don't think Alabama blows them out. I think this is a gritty game. I think it's a hard-fought game because these Indiana boys, they want to prove something too. They want to prove that they belong. They want to prove that this isn't a fluke. So, Alabama, 24. Indiana, 16.
How many rushing yards?
131 rushing yards.
All right. It's my turn. Shout out to Mark Davis, my longtime friend and buddy there. I'm going to agree with him. I think the offensive line will be the key to this game. And I think the offensive play calling is going to trust the offensive line in the run game. And the run game is going to have a tremendous impact on this game, not because of just total yards, but because of the plays that are going to come off of the run game. We will have Cuevas will have a long play, if not a touchdown, off of a play action pass. They are going to do some type of fake run and reverse to like you know what I'm saying, like fake the run and give it to either going to be Jeremy Bernard or Ryan Williams or Brooks. I don't know which wide receiver they're going to use. Is going to be, but the offensive line is going to give time for that to happen, and the offensive line is going to give Ty time to surgically dissect this team. And so I think offensively, Alabama has the best game they've had in a long time, and the best game I think they've had all year against a Power 5, a Power 4 team. I got them getting 34 points. I really do. And I think one of those may be after Alabama's kind of got them on the ropes. Because I think, as much as I just talked about offense, I think we're not going to wait and spot them 17 points. I think Womack learned his lesson about a surgical quarterback. If you let him sit in the pocket and be stationary, they can, and there's good wide receivers, they can get open no matter how talented your DBs are. They can't cover for 3 to 5 seconds. So I think they're going to force Mendoza to get rid of the ball in that 2.5 to 3 second range and have him uncomfortable. Not necessarily as many sacks, but maybe 2 or 3 sacks. And as a result of that, I don't think Indiana's going to break the 20 point. I got this being a rout, man. I might give them 20. I give them 20. 34 to 20. Now, if we beat them 34 to 17. Then y'all, I'm channeling my 1992 Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm channeling it. There's going to be a non-offensive touchdown, maybe 2. We're going to
maybe around pick 6, right?
Or Bray Hubbard. And like I said, I'm channeling. This sounds. It's not at the same level.
Chase down strip?
But it's. I'm channeling my inner 1992 Alabama versus Miami, where the one team and the Heisman Trophy quarterback and their big time wide receivers and all of their glitz and glamour and their hype and their talking, and they're the ones out saying all of this stuff they're gonna do, while our guys is going about their business getting ready. I just think when you look at these guys on film, the team has executed, but you don't look out there on the field and go, "Ooh, I'm scared of that dude." I don't see that guy. I don't see that guy. And I think if our 11 and their 11 both play up to their God-given ability, Alabama is 2 to 3 touchdowns better than this team. Will they do that? I don't know, but that's what I'm predicting. And by the way, I'm going to give them 115 yards rushing. So sorry about, I almost forgot that. So, yeah. And hey, listen, you may come on tomorrow in the show. I may bump up the score. I might be in the 40s. I may be in the 40s by tomorrow. No telling that. What I tell y'all, Indiana's going to have to show me on the field. And I will come back on Friday and cry, but I'll say respect earned if they win.
Won't catch me.
But until that happens,
he might retire from the show. We lose the game.
Jacob Powell said he prayed hard for that score. Rodriguez said, hey, I'm trying to go back and get some of the scores that you guys gave tomorrow, but please make sure tomorrow, if you tune in, make sure you give me your predictions again tomorrow, so you can be added to the contest. But hey, guys, man, this has been fun. We're just three dudes hanging out, talking ball with you. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can maybe even work in the ability to take a phone call or two. So y'all, hey, listen, hey, technology, man. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But until then, we'll make sure we keep the chat open and keep working that in. I mean, to get to hang out with you guys this way is cool. Both from hanging out with my sons and hanging out with you. And like I said, as we go, we will be, not just Bama, but right now it's all about Bama tonight. 34-20, maybe 41 by tomorrow morning.
Hey, I'll take it. This has been a blast. No, this has been a blast, and late night talking football, talking Bama, talking football in general. Like it's just fun for us. But yeah, we got a lot to get into, and this is going to keep expanding, and we'll talk about other stuff once the season's over. But hopefully that's not for another 3 weeks. The 19th, the national championship game. So yeah, 3 weeks from now, Alabama raising another national championship trophy. Roll Tide.
Yep. And for those who, Simeon, go ahead. I'll close it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's been a blast being able to talk just and have a bunch of fun, kind of go on different tangents and don't have to worry about keeping time. So it's been a blast, really. It's been really good and super excited to see Alabama dog walk everybody on the way to number 19 on January 19th.
Yeah, don't forget that tomorrow we'll be back at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. I think Who's Your Mama?
Who's your mama?
Who's your mama? Who's your mama? What? Boy, we have arrived now, y'all. We got Who's Your Mama tuning in. The Houston Huddle is official. It's official. But we'll also have to do our morning job. So we'll be back tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channels as always at 6 a.m. On all of the social networks and platforms. We'll continue to build that out. We're also going to be adding Spotify to the playback list, the podcast list of availability. But if you want to know and be in the know, follow the Houston Huddle as well as the Martin Houston Show on Facebook. And that's the best ways to connect. Whatever way you connect, we broadcast that way. But man, we'll be back tomorrow, 1 hour program. We'll kick things off. It's the Sound Alabama Sports Show, your team on tomorrow. But this has been the Houston Huddle. 3 voices, every angle, and beyond the headlines. And I think we delivered on that tonight. We do plan to make this weekly. But we wanted to kick this off because we didn't want you all, tomorrow, it won't be tomorrow when some of you listen back on the 31st worrying about it. So that's why we went a day early and wanted to get it before this game in case Alabama didn't win. We got this rolled out. But we're looking forward to having another edition of this, talking about Alabama's next game after they take down the Indiana Who's Your Mamas in the Rose Bowl, right? All right. Hey, guys, as always, remember that we serve an awesome God who has blessed us with an awesome opportunity to be in such a great nation. And remember that he loves you. We love you. Trust in him in all that you do, and make your plans and let him order your steps. For Xavier, for Simeon, and for Martin, we say this has been the Houston Huddle, and we'll be back next week. Follow, like, share, and subscribe so that you'll be in the know. Roll Tide, and we'll be back next week.